Do you think Love's going to lead the Packers to the playoffs in year one?
I'm not sure about that. I'd give a slight nod because I think all the pieces are around him. It's not like they've changed everything. I mean, Aaron Jones is still there. Scott Christian Watson can ball. Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? He's still around, okay? And, of course, there's a defense that everybody's familiar with. They ranked 17th last year. But when you look at the Green Bay Packers for himself, it really comes down to Jordan Love. And to me, what hasn't been discussed enough, Dan Orlovsky, is that I'm looking at Mr. Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. Let's be respectful for the time being. Can't say it that way anymore? No. Matt LaFleur. I can say it. I'm just not going too often. I will say this. They say that Aaron Rodgers changed plays at the line of scrimmage quite often. That's what they say. Okay? Which means that, okay, whatever happened to the Green Bay Packers last year, going from the number 1 seed to going 8-9 and missing the playoffs and losing the Detroit Lions the last game of the regular season, all right. That really wasn't about Matt LaFleur. Excuses. We're going to find out now, though, because that Jordan Love ain't going to be calling audibles at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's going to run the play. He's going to use the playbook, right? Which means we're going to find out what Matt LaFleur is worth. And so for me, I love that. I love to find out because I think that Aaron Rodgers was a security blanket for a guy that was once an offensive coordinator for the 27th ranked offense in Tennessee when he got the damn head coaching job. So now we're going to see what he's made of. They've had Jordan Love there for 3 years, just like Aaron Rodgers was there for 3 years before he ultimately took the helm once Brett Favre departed. Now Jordan Love is taking the helm after 3 years, now that Aaron Rodgers has departed. I'm not going by any preseason game or anything like that. I'm looking at the schedule, okay? You got road games against Chicago and Atlanta to open the season. You got your first home game September 24th against New Orleans, all right? Okay, and then I'm looking at them. They got a game their season. They're going up against the AFC West, which is obviously Kansas City.
What do you expect them to go into the bye at, Stephen A? That Week 5 bye. After
that Week 5 bye, I would tell you.
Week 6, so after the first 5 games.
2-3. I think 2-3.
Okay.
I think they're going to lose one of those first 2 games.
Okay.
I think they're going to lose to the Saints and the Lions. So could they go on the road and beat the Raiders? Possibly. Okay. Jimmy G might have something to say about that. We'll see, because Josh McDaniel has a guy familiar with his system, and he's another guy. Yep. All right, I got my guy in there now. Somebody that knows what I want to do and can run it to perfection. That's somebody that I have to teach it to, right, like a Derek Carr who never played for me before. So I think you can look at it from that perspective with the Raiders as well. But in the end, I think that the Green Bay Packers are going to be about 2-3 going into the bye.
So I've said this for months now. I think the Packers are a playoff team. I think they're getting slept on. And even watching the preseason now and Jordan Love's performance, I understand it's the preseason. Regular season will be different. He'll see stuff he's never seen before. I think if he plays in the regular season the way he's played in the preseason or close to it, we're talking no question a playoff team. We're talking a team. We'll have a conversation in January of like, oh, man, could they get to the NFC title game? Here's like a couple of reasons why. One, just touching on this past weekend, it was nice to see Jordan Love have to play with a little bit of lack of perfection. Like, not everything was perfect for him. Guys weren't just wide open, and he had to go make some plays with his feet. Now, some of the throws were really well done.
You better be in midseason form.
I don't need to be in midseason form. It's the preseason. I show up when it's time, okay? But it's an A-list. We need to have this A-list because we need to start up the season by recognizing who the top elite players in the game today. Dan Orlovsky, remember, the list is fluid.
Not for other people, not for me.
Okay, it's fluid. Let's keep that in mind. As we move forward. Let's go to number 5 on the list. Please give it to me right now. Bam! Justin Jefferson. Why? He's in Minnesota. 1,800 receiving yards, 128 receptions last year. A lot of people are looking at him and saying, whoa, this is the best receiver in football. Listen, if they're saying that about him, then you can't ignore him from being a top 5 player, considering the fact that especially Dalvin Cook's going to be going, Kirk Cousins is going to have to rely on him even more extensively and what have you. You got to look at it from that perspective. Everybody and their grandmama say he's an absolute stud. We got to give love where love is due. He deserves it. I'm putting him in my top 5. Let's go to number 4 on the list. Please give it to me right now. Bam! Josh Allen. Why? Because of what you just said, Dan Orlovsky, just a little while ago. What this man brings to the table: 35 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 13-win season last year. Did it show up like he needed to in a divisional playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals? But the reality of the situation is clear. when you look at the stud that is Josh Allen. He's got size. He's got arm strength. He can make every conceivable throw. He can run with the football. He's rough and rugged. He can extend plays. We know all of this about him. A bit too risky at times, but nevertheless, without question, he's a top 5 stud in the NFL. Nobody would deny that reality. He ain't number 3 for me, though, Dan. I'm going to give you number 3 right here. Nick Bosa. Why? Normally, we would have the Aaron Donalds of the world on this list. Here's why this has changed. Aaron Donald missed a few games last year. The Los Angeles Rams didn't have the greatest season last year. We know he'll come back, even though people have been debating slippage. I would never do that with Aaron Donald. I know how much of a stud he is. But this brother right here, Nick Bosa, 18.5 sacks last year, didn't miss a game.
Okay.
The year, I missed one game, I'm sorry. The year before that, had 15.5 sacks. 34 sacks over the last 2 years.
Okay.
We know how lethal he is. We know how big-time San Francisco's defense is. When he's on the field, he elevates them to another level. He's one of, if not the elite defensive player in the game today. We can't ignore that reality. He ain't top 2, though. Give it to me right here. Bam! Joe Burrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something right now. Once upon a time, I was talking about those bags people were wearing over their heads in Cincinnati, and how much of a joke, a pathetic joke that franchise was, and how the NFL needed to do something about getting new ownership in there because they owned them so damn cheap. All of this stuff that, notice we ain't said that since they drafted Joe Burrow. His first year, he gets there, okay, he gets injured. The next 2 years, when the brother is healthy, all he did was take the Cincinnati Bengals to a Super Bowl and beat Patrick Mahomes to get there. And then last year, he went back to the AFC Championship game, beating Josh Allen to get there before losing in a thriller to Kansas City, which, by the way, special teams had something to do with that loss, more so than anything else. Joe Burrow's that dude. Joe Burrow's that dude, okay? And Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, having them available to you, don't hurt. That's number 2 on the list. Ken, there's only one number 1. There's only one number 1, okay? This man right here, Patrick Mahomes, been a starting quarterback in the National Football League for 5 seasons. He's been in the AFC Championship game practically every year. Been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 Super Bowl titles. This man is off the chain. He is something special. 5,000-plus yards passing last year. 41 touchdown passes, just 12 interceptions last year. The Kansas City Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill, who went to Miami and declared that somebody named Tua Tagovailoa would be just as lethal and just as accurate than Patrick Mahomes. And all Patrick Mahomes did was, without Tyreek Hill, went there and won the damn Super Bowl. That's what we're talking about here. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson. Remember, the list is fluid because there was a seven players. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, others to consider. The list is fluid. But this is my list going in to the 2023 National Football League season.
2 items of business to handle before you guys give out grades. You can join the conversation at home. All you need to do is access the QR code that will pop on the screen in moments. Submit your grade. We want you involved. And one other thing, I just remember at approximately like 10:30 in the B block, I asked, will Rodgers be the best quarterback in the AFC East?
Yep.
And you said
that has nothing to do with this list. That has nothing to do with this list.
I was just wondering.
Going into the season, that's what I believe will happen once the season is said and done. But going into the season, these should be the top 5 players that you look at.
Okay, Dan, RC, it's all you boys.
Okay, RC, let me go first. First of all, you start the segment by saying it's preseason. No, it's not.
To me, it is.
No.
Has the game been played yet?
The preseason
Has the regular
is
season
over.
been played yet?
No.
Has the regular season game been played
Preseason's
yet?
over.
But the regular season hasn't started yet.
The American public, preseason is over. We are into the regular season. Number 2, Molly's point in relation to Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, it's 100% right.
It's not.
You're saying this is a top 5 player going into the season, but then you're also saying he won't play top 5 football.
Yes. When it's all said and done, when we look at the season, come December.
Okay.
When we look at the season, come December,
Yeah, it was just a
we'll
little
have a different
confusing.
narrative.
It was a little
I have 2
confusing
questions.
for some
That's
of us.
all.
Questions, and I'm asking them at the same time. Journalists,
Y'all need to watch soap operas.
No.
Y'all really do, because y'all understand.
We're
You would
working
understand.
during the day.
You will
No.
understand.
Yeah, we don't have time.
Oh, the TiVo.
We're working
TiVo. Oh, yeah.
It's not
Your cheek behind. Your
Did
cheek
you say
behind.
TiVo?
I said TiVo.
It's not
DVR.
DVR.
Listen, I always say
Oh
TiVo.
my
but
God,
DVR.
even my father knows it's
You
DVR.
are too cheap to buy
TiVo.
DVR. Okay.
2
go ahead.
questions.
Is that VHS? Or is that cassette tape?
My man said TiVo.
I know TiVo.
Let's
yeah.
throw back from where those pants are, too.
I hope your daughters are
Travis
watching.
Kelce dead?
Say what?
Travis Kelce dead?
No, he's alive and well. I got him on honorable mention. He's right there, like right below.
Honorable mention?
He's right below there.
Michael Parsons dead?
No.
So, where are they?
I'm not going to put a Cowboy on this list. That's not going to happen. Oh, you can't say that. I'm not putting a Cowboy on the top 5 list. I mean, that's ridiculous. I wouldn't do that. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. Do you think Michael Parsons deserved to be put ahead of Nick Bosa?
It's not my list.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.